I'm sure you were expecting to hear the voice of a beautiful elf or a wise wizard, so they could spin you a tale of gold and ancient evils. But that is not this story. No, this is a story of four friends that call Middle-earth home. A dwarf of the line of Durin's kin, who is obsessed with knowledge instead of gold. An elf of Rivendell, sworn to serve and protect the descendants of a once great house. A banished dwarf, seeking glory and proof that there is more to life than what lies under a mountain. And a hobbit of the Shire, who collects treasures of the smallest kind. Together, with their strength, wits, and heart, they will face the growing shadows of the East, bringing light where there is darkness.
You see someone walking up to Imladris, and within a second, you recognize this person as Orphan.
Elvernath immediately realizes who it is upon getting close enough to start thinking about drawing her bow, realizes who it is, and then calls out, "Dear friend, it's been so long."
It really has, but I'm home now. He looks at them and instantly he runs over first to Glofrim and he just goes, "My friend."
Oh, it's so good to see you. You have so much to catch up on. Look, I've been writing, and they let me in their library. I might have got cheese grease on the page, but not my fault.
Of course, it's never your fault.
No, we found a ring. Did I tell you we found a ring?
You found
you didn't tell him. You didn't tell him.
No, I figured we could go through all of the story together so that it could be as chaotic as possible.
Well, I feel like maybe, some proper introductions in place. This is Solheim.
Hello.
We found him in an alleyway.
We is a strong word.
I found him in an alleyway. And it just so happens he was carrying a letter from a person. And
Gandalf.
Might say a wizard. Okay, I was getting there. I was, underplaying a little bit. Yes, he sent a letter and, we was all headed in the same place. So here we are. Well, that skipped a lot of stuff, like where we found the ring and what happened after the troll and all that. But
is this ring of much significance?
Well, some might say I've got a few 50 or 60 pages here of research we've been doing over the season. It's not a lot of mention of it, but there was enough for some quality research.
The night that I absconded, and once again, I deeply apologize for leaving you all without nary a word, but I had several rangers, Haleth, come to me and demanded that I follow him back. He looked frightened, and I'd never seen him frightened like that before. And he insisted that a ranger's moot is about to happen and must come together. We went, and I learned that several evils, several darknesses have started coming together, seemingly all at once. Any one of them would have been a danger, but hearing about all of them happening at the same time severely concerned us all. There were discussions of orc incursions across perhaps something more organized than we've ever heard of, wentering from their usual haunts. Speculations suggesting that they're probing defense or seeking something specific. There was rumors of dark sorcery. Some cited possibly disciples of Gorlank near the ancient sites of power. There were ancient evils, rumors just spreading of darkness everywhere. And the Rangers decided to split our forces across to tackle each one of these rumors. I ended up going with Haleth to go and look for some of these evils up on Fornost Array. There were talks of bandits up there, and we found them. More organized than we'd ever seen, more capable, more dangerous. We did our best to try and tackle this issue, this danger, and we may have caused some dent on it, but I'm unsure what we could have done or how much we actually helped. There are other rumors as well of forges rekindled, armies gathering, sorcery across the lands emanating from Cardoom, and some of which are headed for Bree itself.
I'm sorry, what's headed for Bree?
Danger. More evil.
Why have we not heard about this before? Now?
They're just rumors, but it is one of the reasons the Rangers gathered. Hoping that this is just, once again, as it is, a rumor and not any confirmations. But if we can confirm it, the hope is to mitigate the danger as soon as we can. But we are spread thin.
We're not completely without some kind of protection. The dwarves still have armies and the men. I've heard tale that the men of Dale are really good with the bow and the elves. Look at how many of them there are. We're ready. Somebody just has to call them together.
Do not take this the wrong way, but the dwarves dig deep. The men wither away in their houses, and the elves have receded into their forests.
But that's not a good excuse. That's not a good excuse.
It is not. No, it is not. But I am telling you that it will be a tough fight to wake all of them up.
Well, we've been doing all this research on this ring. And what if, we gave it to someone to use to stop this?
This is not the kind of thing you give to just anyone.
You're right. It deserves to be worn by an elf.
It deserves to be worn by someone brave enough to bear it. And I cannot think of many people more brave than someone who will face a agent of darkness, wail on it with a hammer, and then swallow the ring that summoned it.
Did it really wail on it? And
I was watching rather closely.
The ring, everything that's written about it, everything that we've researched, that we found about it, it was an elven treasure.
And now it is a dwarven treasure.
Why would you give it to anybody?
Well, like Elvorna said, somebody that's powerful enough to handle it. It also is supposed to imbue the wearer with incredible feats of strength and will. Potentially the strength enough to stop our enemy.
This is the exact logic and reasoning that led to the downfall of man. The One Ring was taken and
this isn't
believed to have been able to be used. We had the arrogance to think that we can control this power. These rings are not something that could just be handed out to someone and expected to be able to be wielded.
Then we picked the right person. The Witch King of Angmar is dead.
He was never killed.
So
He was just
is Gorlink sinking an artifact from the Witch King of Angmar to take from him? Are they not working on the same side? Why wouldn't he just give it to him?
I think Gorlank is searching for it.
Oh.
Rather than from. Glowfirm, I don't think that he is there.
And Cardoon?
Yes,
where else would he be?
As I told you before, the enemy has declared himself and called him. Called the Nine.
The Nine being what? One of the Nine being the Witch King.
Ring bearers.
You mean you mean the ring race?
Yes.
This book is the Chronicles of the Dunedain. On the page, you read, in the waning years before the fall of Arthedain, amidst the strife and division that beset the realms of man, a circlet of fine make was forged for Aranarth, a lord of great valor and wisdom. Crafted by the master smiths of Numenor's lineage, this circlet was imbued with the grace of the Eldar, meant to symbolize the unity and strength of the Numenorians. Yet as shadows lengthened over the north, the circlet was lost, its light dimmed by the encroaching darkness.
I make note of that same sentence again, dimming its light. That's exactly how the same book described the ring. And I start making frivolous notes, and I think while I'm like writing, you can see me like playing with my hair, and if you look just close enough, I'm kind of, knotting and running my fingers up and down the lock that holds the ring.
We see rolling hills at nightfall, we see the remnants of ancient towers forming almost like the spine of a great fallen beast. In and among those ruined towers, we see torches. First 1, 2, a dozen, 2 dozen, enough to light the hillside. And as the camera sort of cranes down towards these in a sweeping motion towards these torches, we see marred faces. The mottled greens and grays and dark browns, the muddy, caked blood color. We see wrought iron bent and rent to be part of the body of these creatures. We hear chittering and snarling. We see infighting. We see amassed a small horde of orcs and goblins in the Weather Hills, overlooking the Breelands. We cut from this scene of tranquility to the east, to the southeast, to be specific. We cascade over the ruined city of Offenadil, the ancient elvish city of smiths, once home to Celebrimbor, friend of the dwarves, and we make our way to a hidden west gate that hasn't been opened in many years. A shadowed figure, not but 4 feet tall, stands outside of this. A gruff word is muttered, and the wall shakes, dust falls, and the mountain opens. Inside, we see another figure, taller, hooded, clad in black leather armor, pauldrons. This person reaches out, and through the din of the moonlight, we see their blackened nails sort of, the black of their nails sort of reaches back towards their first and second knuckle as they hand a single item, an artifact of a time gone by. A golden ring set with a large square sapphire facet, one of 7. Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for another episode of Shattered Crown, our One Ring 2nd Edition campaign. This is going to be a special one-shot. This is the first one-shot where we have the entire cast actually present for the one-shot. But
true.
as you can see by the names on the screen, everyone's playing someone different, except for our boy Orphan. So this is going to be one adventure that Orphan had while he was away from the rest of the crew. But before we get into that, as always, if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on Patreon, link in the description down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the corruption bar. That bar serves 2 purposes. 1 is when that bar fills, I unleash terrible shadow corruption on all of my friends here. And 2, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. That being said, let me find which one of my Google Docs is the actual plot of this episode. Great. We have a squad of rangers with us. Some we have met, some we have heard about, and one that I just made up today. So with us today, we have Orphan, our welcome back, lovely little ranger here. We have Haleth, who we met so many episodes ago. We have Talendil, who we've heard several times mentioned over the course of the campaign. And we have a new one, Berethiel, which I just made up today. She's around and sounds cool from the description I made, but we haven't heard of her yet. We are going to be heading back a few months' time when Orphan. This is post the Ranger Moot. This is after Haleth and Orphan have spoken to Talendil, and he has requested theirs and now Berethiel's aid in the bandit rousting in Fornost Arraign. Now, Fornost Arraign is one of the final battle sites of the War of Angmar way back in the day. In fact, just west of Fornost is the Fields of Slaughter, where the actual battle took place, in which we saw in Elveneth's backstory, where she was there for the final battle of the Witch King of Angmar. But the city of Fornost has fallen, and Talendil, a ranger, has taken it upon himself to be essentially the watchkeeper over that place. And he has noticed more and more bandit activity, more and more activity in the city, which is unusual, and has requested the aid because he is vastly outnumbered, despite his numerous skills with blade and bow. So, we will start inside the city, or the ruins of said city. The ruins of Fornost have been reclaimed by nature over the last several hundred years. Overgrown shrubs and vines and bushes and trees have overtaken this once Numenorian city. Many of the buildings are dilapidated and crumbled. What high edifices there may have once been, what towers there are, lay in rubble, in half towers, half buildings, ruins that if you didn't know you were in parts of the city, you would think it was just another forest or another overgrown area. The city spreads out for quite a bit, whether you know you're in it or not. The center of the city is where the largest grouping of these buildings and ruins are, to include the Dome of Stars, which is an ancient, like a dome made of stones to symbolize the celestial heavens above. It's one of the most intact buildings, and it was believed to be a site of ancient sorcery. Perhaps this is why the bandits are here. However, we start in there on the fringes of the city, or the ruins of the city, as the four of you bandits are looking for... sorry, not the four of you bandits. The four of you rangers are looking for the signs of the bandits. You have seen footpaths leading in and out. You've seen activity, as in like remnants of them having been here, and far more than what Talendil had let on previously. So perhaps his journey to the Weathertop, there and back again, has left some opening for more and more of these bandits to come in. So as you all approach the outskirts of the city looking for bandits, what are you all doing?
I think considering that Orphan is a bit more of a younger ranger compared to the rest of them, a less seasoned ranger than the rest of them, he probably would defer to them. Maybe if I don't know if we're like observing from someplace trying to hide. So if we are, he'd be kind of like behind them, crouched over and observing what they do at this point and waiting for the next set of orders to come from them.
Is it flat, like coming up on it, Mike? Like, what are we, or how far out are we from our destination?
Yeah, it's actually mostly flat. So the eastern side of this area is directions. The eastern side is the northern half of like that spine of Weather Hills.
Yes,
So
okay.
like you're coming in from the southeast. So the east of you is hilly foothills. But as you're getting into the city area, it starts to get become plains. In fact, the further west you go, it flattens out into there's a river. There's a major river over there. So it kind of is lowland in that respect. So you're coming in from the southeast. So northeast to you and east of you is foothills. And the further west and north you go, the flatter it gets. Talendil, you would be the most familiar with the area. So Talendil, you mainly stick around this area. This is kind of your haunt, as it were. Berethiel, you sort of stay on the eastern side of the Weather Hills. So not necessarily, this is not your necessarily stomping grounds, but you do know the area of the north in general. And Haleth, you normally stay down towards the Angle and towards the Brelands. So this is sort of, of this area, you've traveled through it. This is not your go-to.
And I wouldn't have much unless like bookish knowledge of the place or the location.
Right, yeah. Your travels with Elveneth has not led you up here very often. You do track the rumors around here. But unless unless something like this happens where you are requested to go north, or there are sites of darkness growing or shadow that would entice Elverneth to bring you this far. This is a little out of the way.
Yeah.
So Orphan is hanging back. Talendil, will say, is leading the way. Talendil, this is your home. How are you approaching this as you're looking for bandits here?
Yeah, I think Talendil with I'll describe him first. I don't remember do you have a physical description? I think
Nope.
we've only heard a name.
We've
right?
only heard the name, so he's all yours.
Okay, great. He kind of looks like that weird uncle that you would have. So he's got like a wild mustache that probably should be trimmed a bit more. He's got that 5 o'clock shadow because he attempts to shave, but it just keeps coming back. And he clearly probably just uses like his dagger to shave what he can just to stay clean-ish. He's got kind of like scraggly short, graying, but like a really dark gray sort of hair, kind of peppered in a bit. And obviously he's adorned in leathers and maybe some, no, probably just all leather, of blacks and greens and browns, whatever is best for this area, to stay as hidden as possible, right? He carries with him, there's a sword off to one side. He's got a bow that is hung around his back, and then he also carries with him a felled spear that's kind of wretched looking. And I think because this is his home, this is his area, this is what he knows. The his He's attuned to, or rather, he's keen on being able to find and locate things that others may kind of miss. His expertise of this area is to know when a leaf is overturned, a branch has been snapped, a creature has been felled in some sort of way. So I think his first notion is going to probably do like a scan and see what can the earth tell him right now.
Hell yeah. Go ahead and roll me a scan. Actually, let me double check here. Roll me either. I'll take either a scan or a hunting.
Ooh, they're both the same.
I will say for hunting, your target number is 1 lower.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna look at now. So it's 1 lower, yeah, because it's 14. All right, so we're gonna go with hunting because we are currently hunting some bitches.
While Talendil is doing the tracking and hunting, considering that that Orphan has been majority of his life been with Elverneth and not with his own people.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's like a lot of awkwardness here, like not really quite knowing how to like broach or connect. He doesn't feel the same level of like kinship. It's more coming from the fact that the legacy of being a Dunedain and the history that's there, but to the individuals, to the present, I wouldn't imagine him having a lot of connection in that way. And also, I would imagine the way an elf does things in terms of tracking, in terms of what they observe, would be somewhat different. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would there be some differences in here that like Orphan would have picked up?
So I'll say whether or not from being an elf or not is the reason. The fact that she's 2,000 years old is probably a big reason. But then also the fact that like while this is like the day-to-day for Orphan, the other rangers don't interact with her as often as you do, but also know what her station is in Rivendell. So, like, for you, the fact that she's essentially a princess among elves is just sort of lost on you, but it's not lost on everyone else. So even when interacting with other rangers, there's a certain level of respect that you're treated to because you're with her. And so now you're not with her. So there's that level of, like, not that you're being disrespected, but, like, there's an extra level they put on because of her importance, and you're just a regular guy now. So
I'm a kid.
yeah,
I'm essentially still a kid.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Great. I love that. I wish my character was a dick, because I would totally be like, boy, you there,
boy.
just
what does that mean?
Just full on God of War, boy. Get in the canoe,
boy.
That's how I'm gonna talk to my son from now on, boy.
Yeah.
Get over.
But you gotta put the braids in first. You gotta have the braids.
Gotta get the braids. Jesus. Okay. So you you rolled a success on your hunting. As I've said, you have seen tracks moving in and out, right? So you're trying to discern which of these tracks are old, are new, are headed into the city versus out of the city, and you do find a fresh set of tracks. Your guess is 2, maybe 3 people, if they're moving very tightly together. They seem to be the footprints aren't that deep, so they're not like a heavy set group of people. They seem to be pretty light on their feet, or not carrying a lot of weight on their back. And with that success, if they're not carrying a lot of weight, then they're probably not trekking in here, and they may have a camp established. So that's kind of what you think. You have a general direction. You can track them to wherever they have gone, but your best guess is there may be a small camp set up here if they're not carrying a lot of stuff, or they're very spry.
Okay. With that kind of knowledge, Talendil is going to kind of like just out of like the corner of his eye, look over to Orphan. Orphan, what do you see out here?
I think do you give me any hints, like, or are you like, this is like
no
action?
Not at all, boy.
Okay, yeah this is actually so what do I roll for this?
You can roll hunting.
Okay, I'm not proficient at that.
Great.
So I'm just gonna click the dice icon next. Man, it's been so long since. No bonus dice.
Nope.
Submit. Let's see what I get, baby.
Okay, cool. So you just barely failed. So what I'll say is you get a lot of the generics, right? Like, people have been moving in and out of here. The path you're looking at has been traveled more than once. You're not sure how recent that was. You pick up none of the, like, heavy set versus light on their foot versus, like, maybe or not carrying packs. So you know that people have come this way. You're pretty sure that they've gone in this way more than they've gone out this way, but of any of the nuances of that, it's totally lost on you.
Yeah. You just seem to and there's a little bit of nervousness in his voice, as if though he's trying to like impress, but also, it's like you're meeting your long lost dad for the first time and you want to impress him, but don't know how.
Plus, there's that level of, like, I have to make it look like the elf doesn't do it all for me, and I actually know how to do my job.
But also he's very, very, like, he looks up to Elvernit, and so, like, he wants to do her proud, and he doesn't want to fuck up, and then people are like, what the fuck has she been doing with him this entire time? Like, oh, what the hell? What is this? And so that's one of the things he's, like, I think that, that pressure is on top of that as well. So he's like, I mean, nothing beyond the ordinary. I think it's just, I see a lot of tracks coming more out than in. Mostly seem human. It's just well worn.
Good. Close.
So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if it's just because the material of the dirt or whatnot, but I cannot seem to ascertain.
I think at this point, you don't even hear it happen. Like, there's just sound that comes from over your shoulders. You're kind of bent down looking at this place on the ground. And it's, how did you say her name, Mike? Berethiel?
Yep.
Berethiel. Quiet as leaves on the wind. And she wears dense fur boot. Her feet are wrapped for extended foot travel. And very light and little clothing. A short spear on her back, bow on her back, and she clearly has extraordinarily long hair that has been braided and wrapped multiple times kind of around the crown of her head. which means
Yeah.
she can't wear any kind of helmet or anything to cover their face. But instead, she kind of has a piece that comes up and over the bottom of her mouth to her nose when she's, I guess, in stealth mode. And she kind of says lightly, but pointedly, looks to me like they weren't carrying much.
Yeah, yes, that's what I was able to figure as well. Thank you. Yeah. Did you catch anything else? I don't think there's much more.
Did I catch anything else, Mike? He got a success on the hunting. I guess I could roll a scan.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll either hunting or scan.
I'll do the opposite. Success.
Hell yeah. A success. Yeah, you pick up basically the same things that Talendil picks up. You look where Talendil is looking more for the ground and where the tracks are going. You sort of look around, right? And you see like where there are like trees and shrubs and whatever. The branches aren't pushed back. So as if to confirm what Talendil and yourself had said previously, they're not carrying like packs or things that might jostle the branches. So they are traveling slim. And lithe, so they can move around the branches and not like snapping twigs on like the left and right. It's mostly just like foot traffic is what you guys are picking up. So again, that indicates either they're setting up something here, or something has already been established here, or maybe they're just scouts. You're not entirely sure between the two of those options. Either there's already something established, or these guys are just scouting the area and are still here.
There's a large wall around Fornost.
There's chunks of wall around Fornost.
Left, but there was at one point like high ground is what I'm asking.
Yep.
I think at that point, I just ignore his question altogether. It's not relevant. We've all learned the same things. She speaks little, and she turns and kind of looks at the fort and says, "I think we should get high ground."
Turning around, you probably catch eyes with a Haleth, who, to remind everybody, is someone that we forgot what she looks like. So, gee, I apologize. I'm going to reskin her.
Describe your hot girlfriend, Eris. Do it.
My actual hot girlfriend?
Yes,
I have one
and
of
your
those.
fantasy hot girlfriend.
Yes. Either one.
Haleth is a rather tall for a woman, has sandy blonde hair that is down to her waist in a braid, just one long braid down her back. A lot of the time she'll kind of wear it bunned up on the back of her head to kind of keep it out of the way, but today she has it just down her back. She walks with a very particular gait, and when you see her walk slowly, you can almost see her favor her knee, her right knee, and she definitely it's definitely from an old wound, but she has her shield at her side, as well as a leather corselet and a keen longsword. There's a great bow strapped to her back that she has kind of on a hook on her armor. And she kind of looks around to see if there's anywhere in particular she looks like a good strategic point to ambush someone.
Yeah, you look around. No need to roll for that. You are looking. Actually, so are you looking for a high point to ambush from, or a low point to ambush from? Just so I
am looking for a place that would have an ambush set for us.
Oh, the reverse. Okay, cool. Roll me. Ooh, I want to say. Go ahead.
I was going to request battle.
I was gonna say battle, so roll me battle.
Excellent.
That's perfect.
Yes. Success.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you look around and you can it's like all I can think of is like Assassin's Creed when it goes into like the Hawk and you like look around, you can slowly see the area sort of like pop up. You can see that there are several high vantage points that should there be bowmen, that would be a good place to be, but you're looking for like small indications of like are there people there? And you look around, and while there do seem to be many places for like blinds to be set up or height advantage to be set up, for you guys to follow this path, you'd be walking into places that you could be from. You don't see any indications that there is anyone set up in those places. So you could plant an ambush there, but you don't think that anyone is actually waiting for you in this time.
I'll point up to one of those places. I said, "There's a good place to set up if we want to wait. Doesn't look like anyone's waiting for us, though."
Let's hope we keep it that way.
I'd prefer it. I like to be the hunter.
We'll say since Gnome's off screen, you guys head in that direction. You make your way around a couple of copses of trees, through some of the broken wall that Berethiel had mentioned before, and you find essentially a chunk of building that has a moderately remaining set of stairs that leads to that upper area that Haleth had mentioned. You're in the second story of a stone edifice. Like 2/3 of the wall on one side has been completely destroyed and crumbled out. There's just enough room for you to like use the corner as a place where the four of you can sort of group up. One entire wall is down, and 2 of the remaining walls are mostly gone. Only one full wall remains.
Do we hear anything at this point now that we're deeper into Fornost?
Actually, you do. While you are up here, you begin to look around, and you not only hear things, you begin to see things as well. There are a few areas that have a small tendril of smoke, owning to a small campfire of sorts, but you also hear a conversation happening on the other side of the building. You guys can kind of see it from one of the half walls. There are 2. Your best guess is there's 2 men here. They are dressed in similar leathers, fur cowls. One of them has a hood sort of drawn down. The other one has a similar hood just tossed over the cowl. Long sort of shaggy hair, sort of loosely clumped together with some sort of thong to tie it together. And they are around a small fire, and they seem to be poking this. This seems to be like a very, like they dug a hole, put a small fire in here, perhaps to stop for a bite, or perhaps this is where they have to stay and watch. You're not entirely sure. But you do hear a conversation sort of taking place.
And we're here just on a routine clean out.
Yeah, so not to speak for Gnome here, but Talendil has found there is more of a bandit presence than usual. Far more frequent and far more in number than he is comfortable with, and is requesting the aid of other rangers to either figure out why or just fucking get him out of there. So yeah, routine clean out or investigation. You hear them having a conversation. Anyone who wants to try to listen in can roll me a scan. Can roll me a I believe a scan.
Okay. Oh.
I think as we sneak into this area, between the no, sorry.
Berethiel.
Yeah, Berethiel puts a single finger to her lips and kind of slides the tight scarf piece up and over her mouth to listen just a little bit harder, as if she's just trying to hear what they're saying on the wind.
Yeah, all right. So no one failed terribly. You all failed except for, I believe, Breath.
I passed.
So you lean as close as you feel comfortable leaning to this like fragmented side of the wall, and you hear these two voices. One, your best guess, is probably an older man, gruff voice. The other one seems to be younger, maybe in his early 20s, having a conversation, and the conversation is mostly about why they're here. They seem to be looking for something that neither of them really understand what they're looking for. There is some discussion about finding the pieces needed for a ritual, but there's also a tone when they say ritual, like there's a lack of belief that that's a real thing. And you hear mention of like a sarcastic tone, mentioning Mordran's new benefactor.
Are we aware that I know we know some bad juju is some bad vibes are going on in Middle Earth, but
Yes.
the other crew has begun to recognize that they are trying to find artifacts. Are the Rangers in that know?
I don't know that they're in that specific know. They do know there's bad stuff happening. They do know that the shadow's moving. They have heard tell of Gorlank.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But they don't have the same knowledge the other crew has.
Correct.
Okay, great. So then, as soon as kind of I pick up the gist of what they're saying, I'll lean into the group and say from underneath my scarf, rather muffled, they're looking for something. I imagine there's got to be more than just two of them.
Then we take one out. Ask the other questions.
Would we fear if there's more that they would come by and get alerted if one of them is missing?
Not if we're quiet enough.
Besides, this is a great place to wait.
So what? We just wait.
They're looking for something. Perhaps they'll lead us to where it is, and we can ascertain what it is from them, rather than having to search it ourselves.
Then I say we split up in two. Each of us take one side of the wall.
Agreed.
Happy to be whichever side you need me to be. Quick question, actually.
Yes.
So, considering this is fresh from these events are happening fresh after the troll cave and the burrows.
This is happening after the moot. So this is probably a few months ago in game time, because right now we're in like early January or February. So this is probably like 3 or 4 months back, or 3 months back. So right after the moot, it's probably 2 weeks after that, given the travel time.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
so you have been to the tomb. You have the crown.
Yes,
I have the crown. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is several months after the crown.
So based off of that knowledge, I would know, right, that they've been looking for artifacts at this point, or no?
You only know no, because we learned that they're looking for more than just the crown after Orphan left.
Correct. You know that they were trying to, that Gorlank and his crew, Gror and his crew were looking for artifacts.
That crown.
Got it.
You didn't understand that maybe they're working together until the moot, which was about 2 weeks ago, and you don't know that they're looking for more than what they have.
Right. Okay.
Or why.
Got it. Okay. Cool.
I'm curious if just mechanics wise. Let's say I want to sneak up on a dude and slit his throat.
Okay.
Would that be like a stealth hunting because I'm hunting him? Or would that be an athletics?
I think it would just be a straight stealth.
It'd be a stealth and then an attack roll is what I'd imagine.
I mean, here's what I'll say. If you pass a stealth roll, you can just do it. You're an NPC. You can just straight up, if you pass the roll. So this is cool. So we haven't had a whole lot of fighting with human foes, except for the melee in the tomb. So there's a mechanic called wounding, and most human foes die with one wound. So as long as you like, and a wound is anytime you roll a 10 or a Gandalf rune on the feat die. So I'll say if you can pass the success die, or pass the stealth check, that would grant a wound and that person's dead.
Okay.
So if you want to sneak down there, I will also say all of you are far enough away that if you have bows, you can just launch a volley of arrows at these people without them knowing.
Well, that's kind of what I would.
Not trust myself with anything like that.
But what about Aelith, Aerith? Is she good with a bow?
She's okay with a bow. She's better with a sword.
So are all of us equal? Do we all have 1 point in bow?
Oh no, I've got 2.
I got a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So hold on. So who's good with swords or spears?
I've got
Who's
2
melee?
and 2 and spear.
Who's ranged?
Yes.
Hey,
Talendale, are you melee or ranged?
Melee.
Okay. Orphan is melee or ranged? Melee?
technically melee, but I am specifically good with spear that can be thrown.
Okay. So this is what we're going to do. Haelith, I guess Haelith is the kind of the battle master in this group.
Yep.
She's going to say, what was the name? Berethiel and I will sneak up into good spots for shooting. Talendale and Orphan, you sneak up and take them from the ground. With our combined efforts, we should be able to subdue them rather quickly, leaving one for questioning if possible. If nothing else, make sure he can talk.
There's not a sound made as I swoop out and sneak off to the other side of the wall. When she gives the order, I move.
Yeah, Talendale's gone silently.
Okay. So you split up. Haelith. Haelith and Berethiel, you're taking the high ground. Orphan and Talendale, you're taking the low ground. Those of you on the low ground, I will take a stealth roll from both of you.
Boy. Stealth. Where is that?
It should be on the right-hand side, like third or fourth one down.
Insight, healing, courtesy.
I'm gonna burn hope.
Oh, see, I see it. Yeah.
Okay, to gain a bonus die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is that now a third failure? My God, dude.
The eye of Sauron. Oh.
Hold on, that was
Okay.
wrong. You rolled 0d6.
Have I been?
Nope, that is correct.
That is correct because nothing matters when he rolls the eye of Sauron.
Nope, that and he also has no points in stealth.
Oh, then that's why.
Oh no!
My character is meant to be one that. All
We're
of my
learning
stuff is
so
in,
much
like,
about you.
bad stuff.
Excellent, great. This is going well.
Did you
I said I could go with spear.
So go ahead and roll that extra d6.
Yeah, man.
Talendale.
Oh boy.
Unless you roll a 1, you should be good.
No, we're good.
Okay, great.
That's
So Berethiel and Haelith, you see this happen. You get in position, you're ready to go. You have arrows knocked in the bow. You're not drawing on them, but you have your body is ready to that snap draw. You see Talendale and Orphan slink down, and without any effort involved, the three of you just track Orphan the whole way. Like, Talendale, you're moving, and you can still just, like, look over your shoulder and just see him moving also. And he's trying to follow in your footsteps, Talendale, but just off to the side, and he, like, missteps and snaps a twig, and you see him, like, ruffle a branch here, and he's making just enough noise that anyone with any sense can look at him. So
great. If that's the sense that we're feeling, I'm hurling my spear.
Okay, great. So then what I will say is I will take a ranged from Haelith and from Berethiel, and I will also take a ranged spear attack from Talendale, because I feel like the moment Talendale like pulls his spear, Haleth and Berethiel are on it before Orphan even realizes that they're doing it around him.
What's the target's parry?
The target's parry is 0.
There you
Have
go.
you decided whether, if I have a spear, whether it can be ranged or like
The spear is ranged.
It is ranged for
It
you.
can be
Yeah,
ranged,
we
yeah.
yeah, yes.
I'm gonna do it in forward stance.
Okay.
Can I
No,
do that?
what I meant, like, if I say.
Oh no,
choose
you
the
have to do
future-
it in rear stance. You're too far away. Forward
Oh,
stance
wait,
is like
oh.
right up to each other.
Okay. Let me reset that. Okay. And
Oh,
then
do I need to
sorry, what was the
re-roll that
target?
in the
No,
wrong?
You're
Okay.
fine, I believe.
What was the target parry?
0.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, loss.
Okay, so that's 2 successes. Great. So you see Talendil raise a spear, and as soon as his arm begins to like arc, you hear 2 arrows go, followed by Talendil, you throw your spear, and it misses only because the person falls over to the side, as 2 arrows have essentially crisscrossed through his throat. Why is my zoom on autofocus? What kind of horrible streamer am I? As 2 arrows have crisscrossed through his throat, and he makes like a gurgling noise and then falls over. The other person immediately stands up, draws a cudgel, and begins looking around for everybody, for whatever happened, and sees Orphan. As you are just out of some sort of camouflage here. Orphan, you have a chance to act. What would you like to do?
How far is he from me?
You can get to him. You can get to him right now if you run up to him.
Yeah. At this point, Orphan is smart enough to know that he's fucking up, and so, I think he's just going to imagine what Elmereth would do, and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to straight up, and then before he can draw his weapon, put my spear up to his throat and not kill him, like basically threaten him to stay quiet and peace.
Okay. In that case, go ahead and roll me an athletics. You'll get no bonus, but you won't get any negatives because his parry is so low.
Are you kidding me? Come on!
That's so dope.
I love this for you.
What a humbling moment.
Yeah.
As if I didn't have enough of that for him the last few times he had to roll.
What a humbling time for him. Cool. So you charge up there, and like while you're doing it, you're like trying to get your spear out, but it's whatever the angle, the speed in which you're going, the angle in which like the spear holster, you're not like it's not getting out, like it's jammed in its like quiver essentially, and you get up to him, and you're like still getting the spear out, and you go to grab him, and he just moves out of the way. And you don't realize that you're standing over the legs of the body that just fell, and you sort of stumble and trip past him. You don't eat it, but you do stumble and trip past him, and there is that dream-like sense that you know that everyone who could possibly see you just saw you. Even people you weren't aware of, you're afraid may have saw you. As you stumble over this body, you are now behind this person, and he is turning towards you. He is going to attack you. What is your parry rating?
Do I say the total parry or the regular, just the top right?
Total parry.
It's going to be down, or is it? It's going to be down to the bottom right, right? Over the protection.
No, that is your bonus to parry. Your protection is if you get a wound. That's what you get to roll. So it would be total parry. So on the right hand side. 19? Okay.
Yeah.
Cudgel. Oh. Why did that? Okay. Total parry is 19. Submit. I missed too. So you stumble back, and he tries to club you in the back of the head. And I guess because of like that stumbling gait, he sort of swings, and it just whiffs over your head. You can feel it like tussle your hair as it almost hits you. What is everyone else doing? You see this debacle unfold before you.
Is one guy dead? Is that what
one guy is super dead? Yeah. He has 4 holes in his neck. He is the most dead you could be.
Going for his arm that's holding the cudgel.
Okay.
And I'm going to shoot. I'm going to aim to pin his foot to the ground.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to say roll for it. I'm not going to give you guys about negatives. It's fucking, you're super cool NPCs.
As they're doing that, Talendil is going to use that momentum, right? And just very, like, casually with his sword now come up from behind the guy as the arrows are coming flying and make their impact, and just go up to and, like, whisper creepy uncle in his ear. Make one wrong move and I'm going to gut you like a fish.
Are you going to... Gross. I hate that. Are you going to grab him?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's up because he was distracted. First off, he's distracted by Orphan.
Yeah.
And now he's getting hit by arrows.
He is for sure. One of them, the one to the hand, hits him. You see it like go through his wrist, like stigmata, and he drops this cudgel. And you see him like reel back away from him, and he sort of stumbles backwards towards you, giving you that opportunity. Go ahead and roll me athletics with a bonus of 1.
Wait, did my attack go through? I didn't do an attack. I thought I did an attack with my spear, right? Or was that athletic?
You rolled to grab him.
Is that what? I wasn't trying to grab him. I was trying to just put my spear up to his throat.
Oh yeah.
So unless
you rolled.
So unless you're trying to like stab him, you were trying athletics. To like. Yeah, like athletics to hold his spear to your throat.
To grab
to be like
him,
intimidation.
Which of the rolls?
Yeah. Perfect. Success right on the nose. This guy stumbles back, reeling, holding his arm as there's an arrow shaft through it. And you just sort of like almost like a backwards hug. You just get him as he's stumbling back and pull him to you. One of his arms is trapped. The other arm has an arrow through it. Orphan, you recover and turn around, and you see the one guy dead, the other guy with an arrow shaft through his wrist, and Talendil is holding him with a blade to his neck, sort of doing what you were trying to do.
I think at this point, I'm just going to lean into this. I think what he would do at this moment, and his compensation for the blunders he's had, he probably like hasn't registered that Talendil has come by and has grabbed him. He might have heard the arrows, but in the momentum and in the kind of the maybe not the frustration, but like eagerness to do something right, I think he would still go around and try to like whack him in the head or like deflect, thinking that he's still there, and try to like use the blunt end of his spear to like just honk him.
Yeah, he's facing you. Talendil sort of bear hugging him from behind, and there's little he can do to stop you from just clocking him over the noggin. So you can just do that. I would like to know, are you trying to knock him unconscious, or are you just like vengefully hitting him in the head?
Not even just vengeful. It was like him in the motion of like, oh shit, he's still behind me. I need to deflect. I need to do something. Okay. And it's just kind of, I would imagine him like the consistent failure has made him not as aware of all the other events that has happened.
Yeah. Sure. Just for shits and giggles, roll me an attack with a bonus of 1.
On the spear?
Yep.
Okay. With a 1. All right. It already shows as a 1 bonus. Does that mean
you have another bonus of 1 additionally?
So 2?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna hit 2.
You should have a bonus of 1 for being in forward stance, I believe.
And then target parry is 0, right? So
it's 0, yeah.
Oh!
That's 3 in a row.
Something's wrong. Something's happening here. Something's wrong.
Did you and Danny have a falling out or something? What's going on?
Bro.
You okay, friend?
Oh
The
my
Eye
god!
of Sauron is on you, friend.
Dude.
Yeah,
You know,
Orphan, you are
freaking low,
cursed.
guys.
I mean, it makes sense. You got that. You have the crown on you, right?
Dude.
The darkness and shadow is just like you're
Curse.
ripping with
God,
it.
we thought the shadow was hunting fucking Glowform, but holy
Glowfrop,
shit.
It's not. It's
Um,
not.
Holy
That's why
shit.
Glowfrop's not worried.
Oh my god!
No, Glowfrom was romancing the shadow. The shadow is hunting Orphan.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, here's what's happened. Orphan, you are in a state of disarray, right? You are dropping the proverbial ball here, and you know this guy just swung on you. You have no idea that Talendil has him, and you swing, intent on like clocking him with the haft of your spear. But as you spin around like a haymaker almost, you see that Talendil's there, and you have to like almost adjust your entire body on the fly to like not smash him in the side of the head. And you end up doing this like weird half stutter, and you end up being like almost like a pool cue. And what happens is the point of the spear slashes across the side of his throat. Blood immediately squirts out, is pouring down Talendil's arm. Talendil, you feel this rush of hot liquid just pouring down your arm. You have seconds to staunch the blood or ask him questions before he bleeds out.
I'm immediately going to put my hand in and try to stop the bleeding. I'm really good at healing.
Great, roll me healing.
Like wicked good. We'll see what the roll is. Oh baby!
Yes.
Great success. Okay, perfect.
So here, let me tell you how this works, right? So as the bleeding is happening, right? Telendil is using the pressure. He's gonna drop his sword. This dude's not gonna make it, right? He's gonna drop his sword and he's pushing the head against his arm so that there's full pressure on that carotid artery and just cutting it off as best he can. He's got another artery going. He'll be fine for a minute. But not like there is no frustration. There is no sense of anger about Orphan's behavior. In fact, he's gonna say instead, great distraction. Not a bad job.
Okay.
See Orphan visibly embarrassed and visibly like upset at himself at this moment. If he was 3 years old, he'd start crying.
I love this. I love this story for you. Not how I imagined the orphan-centric one-shot to go, but holy shit, is it fun. Yeah, you essentially get him in a rear naked choke, but one that's gonna like block off that artery, right? As you sort of like push his head in, you can Orphan, you can see his eyes start to like roll back as like if you slash a major artery, you only have like seconds. It's not a long amount of time. It's less than a minute. You see him start to like go limp a little bit as Talendil like braces him up and jams his head into his bicep. To keep him alive. Talendil, I imagine you, like, with him crammed like that, I imagine you slowly, like, move to the ground to get him in a better position. You did roll a great success on this ability. So, I'm gonna check one thing here. I just want to double check. Yeah. So I will say on a great success, which gives you a success die, you can do a little bit extra with your healing. Do you want to attempt to save this guy's life, or do you want to get him to a place where you can ask 2 questions and then he dies?
Can I haggle?
Yeah.
Can I haggle this? Can I literally hold this man's life in Talendil's hand and be like You can go peacefully now, or tell me where the camp is, and I will spare you. You have 5 seconds.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect. Perfect. He looks to you, and there's no real need for intimidation or persuasion in this situation, because he can feel the blood pouring out of him. He knows what just happened. And so really it becomes a matter of, is he more afraid of dying, or is he more afraid of what could happen to him? And he is more afraid of dying. He can run to the far corners of Arda and get away from whatever's happening in his mind. So he looks to you, and he says, in the center, there the ritual is in the center. They need the artifacts.
Okay. Orphan, fetch
Yes.
me my spear.
Yes.
Quickly.
I go run. Do I start looking for it? Is it obvious?
Yeah, you
where
find
it.
it. You find it about a foot from the other already dead guy.
Yeah. I quickly grab it and hand it over to you.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of spear a fell spear is. It's cursed, blessed, whatever, but it's
I just imagine it's like a real nasty looking blade at the tip.
great. Perfect. What?
I'm just going to, while they're finishing off
Yeah.
this poor guy who's bleeding out, I'm just going to make a loop and make sure that there aren't more of them. Like, I don't want to make sure we're not ambushed.
Yeah, you look around, and this all happened so quick that there was barely enough noise to call anyone in, if there was anybody. But you do it. You and I imagine Elbreth as well. You do a scan of the
Aleph.
area. Nothing around. Sorry.
I
Aleph.
imagine I
Jesus
put
Christ.
out like the call in the middle of the night, like like how an owl like who, or you hear like just a one random bird.
Yeah.
I imagine we use like bird calls and whistles and things to communicate.
Yeah.
And just from across where she is, she kind of gives out that who in the night, which means reconvene or something. Like we know what the hell it means. It's like hand signals or whatever. And we meet up in the middle after doing like a perimeter check, basically.
Yeah. Both of you see no one around. Either both like looking at like Overwatch and physically walking down, no one is around. You do recall that there were smaller little fires. Your best guess is that these are like camps, little small areas like this, stationed around Fornost for either scouting purposes or looking out purposes or what have you, and that there must be some sort of large central place for them to be.
When we meet back up, I'll say, it's not unusual for places like this to be set up, especially if you need to house many people. You don't necessarily want them all together. You don't want to be discovered. I bet there's probably a dozen camps like this all around.
I agree. I say we take apart the campsites, dump them out front, and burn them in one fire. That way, when they come back, it will be harder for them to stay.
Go ahead.
I hate you, Mike.
I love you.
Mike takes this very seriously.
I almost started singing it, to be honest.
The moment you said the words, I went.
I'm so sorry for everybody that watches this show.
Yeah, you can't see what's in the side chat here.
We take it this serious. Yeah, no, and so I just I'll begin kind of going back where we saw like the smoldering and the pieces, and I'll just start breaking them apart. I'll toss wood over the side of the walls. Like I want to break apart these pre-set up campsites because it makes it less appealing to come back, right? When they get here, they're gonna have to do a lot more work to stay.
Yeah. So this camp you're at currently, you start to dismantle the pieces of
this
that,
one,
right?
and any other of the campsites I see around here. You said we saw a couple of smoldering locations.
So from the vantage point, you see
from
other.
Here,
Yeah. So you dismantle this one.
I
There are other
misunderstood.
ones throughout the city.
Okay, then I would say, actually, maybe best to leave it. Make them think that nothing's wrong. Leave the fire burning through the night. We can ambush the next one. If they suspect something's wrong and the fire goes out, though.
That's fair. In addition, if they don't hear anything from this camp, they might come check.
How do you think they're communicating? I'll look around their stuff. Does it look like they're communicating a certain way?
You look around, and what they have is very sparse. Like they have like a handkerchief rolled up with a few pieces of like hard bread and cheese. So your best guess is they're only here for a small amount of time, and they return to Essential. So there's probably not like long range communication like what you guys have.
Yeah,
like
they come and go quite
they
frequently.
come and go. Yeah, yeah.
Would you ask your patient if he's expecting anyone else? I look to Talendale.
Talendale is like packing the wound at this point. He told the guy he's probably got the guy like to bite down on the spear because he's packing this wound with something that he pulled out of a pouch, you know. So it's pain. I mean, his fingers are like, you know, in there.
In it.
Yeah. So he'll pull the thing out from the guy's mouth. You heard the lady. Answer.
He is like through strain, like immense pain and strain to get this out of here.
Fun.
Yeah, not to be graphic, but if you ever packed a wound, it's not comfortable.
No.
So he like grunts out this coarse, like you're 90% sure the word is no, but like it's almost a cough. But it doesn't seem like he's waiting for anybody to come.
I look at all of them and I say, are we actually going to leave him alive?
Gave him my word. He answered the question. He gets to live today.
Well, then I guess we should take the other body out front so the wolves don't get him through the night. And I look at him, kind of eyes on him as he realizes how freaking lucky he is because she would not have let him live.
Haleth will just like start dragging the body after going through the pockets and making sure there's nothing that would hint at what they are doing, where they're from, or anything like that.
I think seeing Haleth start dragging the body, Orphan tries to go and help, like look from the legs or from the arms, whichever side, move it easier, and not try to do one thing that is going to be messed up today.
Okay.
After they leave, I'll look at Talendale. And the spearhead or the knife is still here. The one that we took off of them.
He had a cudgel.
A cudgel.
Like they both had. They both
we haven't
had, like,
located
clubs.
what they were looking for. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And they were your best guess, Brethiel, was that they also weren't sure what they were looking for. Like they were told to go find something, and they're not 100%
here at
certain.
this location, or just in the area.
In the area is what you got from that conversation.
Well then now's the time for me to start using my big Dunedain brain. How old am I? Can I maybe piece of where around here would they have been looking? Like if there are, you know, because Fornost is long lost to just the wilderness at this point. It's been reclaimed.
Yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't be. I think like the average lifespan of a Dunedain is like 100 and change, 200 years at most.
That's what I thought. So
yeah, you're probably, you know, in the probably like the over 100 range. I would say if you're based on your description.
I'd like to be a mature woman. That sounds nice.
Yeah, of course. Wouldn't we all? So
working on it, Mike.
You know what? Roll me lore.
I think I can actually do that. Can I spend a hope?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that because this is the NPC. That will add die to this. So that's one die.
Yep.
Damn, so close. Can I spend another hope?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Cool.
You're an NPC.
Like, I feel like, plus, if this is some Dunedain shit, I might know some things. So 5 more. So I failed.
Okay,
I
cool.
success.
So a 19. So a success. What you dig back into your mind of stories and histories and legend lore that you may know about this area, and nothing sticks out of really like other than like the Dome of Stars, which like you can't take that, it's a building.
Yeah.
Nothing sticks out as anything like a treasure or artifact worth scouring here for. And this place has been like, it's not hidden. You can just come here. So you'd think
Right.
if
That's
anything
why.
were
That's why
to
she's
be
kind of.
found,
Yeah. It would have been found.
yeah. But something sticks in your mind about things that were discussed recently at the Rangers Moot and how the shadow has been growing longer, especially in the north. You, as someone who frequents like Rudour and that area, you know that the Downs, especially the South Downs, but occasionally in the North Downs, there are and also occasionally, not occasionally, but often in sites of mass death, there are wraiths that can return.
And I particularly hunt them, actually.
That's
Says
true.
My backstory you wrote. I know a thing or two about a wraith or four.
That's true. Fornost was a site of a large battle. It is just outside the Fields of Slaughter, which is the largest battle of the Battle of Angmar, or one of the largest battles. If this is somehow connected to the lengthening shadow that was discussed, perhaps it has something to do with wraiths.
Interesting.
Maybe they're not looking for a specific thing. Maybe looking for a tomb or a or a way to commune or something.
So I think you see her as I kind of we stand over this lucky gentleman's body. He's a lucky man. Thanks to the kindness of Tillendale. And you just kind of see her kind of run her hands as she kind of walks the perimeter the way an animal often does when it's put into kind of a new pen. It wants to, and she kind of runs up and down as if she kind of can see through the growth of the vines, as if she's trying to look back at something. And I kind of turn and I say, there's nothing here. I have ranged these lands for a long time. And if it was meant to be found here, it would have been found. But if you believe in superstition, wraiths walk the lands of the north, and as the shadow grows longer, so does their path. They grow stronger. Wraiths frequent mass graves. And I will kind of point out of the front, kind of crumbled front of Fornost onto where the battlefield would have been out front. And I say, all of that you see was once a battle. What if they're not looking for an item, but something less tangible? I look down at this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a possibility, but what if it's intangible? How would they possibly use it? It's not like they sent someone capable of witchcraft or sorcery or magic. These are regular men.
They were speaking before we attacked about a ritual. I look down at the man. What do you know of it?
I will say at this point, having done everything he can, this man is unconscious. The amount of pain of packing a wound like that and the amount of blood loss, he is out.
Can I search him? Did we find anything on them?
Yeah, I assume you searched the other one as well. Nothing on them besides like their clothing, their weapon, nothing that is like discernible. You did recall hearing them refer to Mordran's new benefactor in sort of a less than enjoyable tone. Like they're not really sure about this Mordran guy or who his new benefactor is. It seems as though this benefactor may be why they're here. And they may not like that idea.
Do you all know the name Mordran? They uttered it.
This is the first time any of you heard this.
A new benefactor has rather upset his troops.
Actually, Talendil, I'll have you roll. Roll me lore.
So, Orphan is proficient at lore. That's one of the reasons, like what he.
The reason I'm having Talendil roll is because I know who Mordran is, and only if you're from this area may you have heard that name. So Orphan would have no reason to have heard the name.
There's no book
I'm gonna
knowledge of
burn
him,
hope.
I think is what Mike's
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah. This is just like local lore. That's a no. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You have
pass.
heard the name Mordrin. He is the closest thing to like a bandit chief in the area. You know that he has several bandits under his like banner, and he has several lieutenants. You don't know their names or anything about them, but that is what you know on a regular success.
He is the ringleader, Mordrin of sorts,
Ooh.
of the bandits. But there are many under him.
Well, it seems that he is now under someone else, or so they were whispering of. A new benefactor. Unhappy with him.
Someone that is more higher status than someone like Mordrin. That is someone far more dangerous.
Correct. And as you said, they didn't have the power to acquire something outside of a tangible mortal realm, but maybe they do. What if this benefactor is behind the growth of the bandits in this area? All those camps out there. They're looking for something. We need to figure out what it is.
And why they would send people who can barely even hold a cudgel to go look for it.
Though it is not the way we fight. Unfortunately, men have many flaws.
Yes. Lack of planning seems to be one of them.
I meant more
Though-
of their care for life. I imagine if somebody above Mordrin is now commanding them in some way, he doesn't care how many are spared. He sent this many because it's about mass. If even just one of them find it, it's worth it.
And they're looking for something intangible.
Mike, would I know that wraiths tend to attach themselves to physical items via curses and things like that?
You would
Since
know that it's
I
possible.
tend to hunt them.
You know that it's possible, but also they're attached to places of sorrow. The whites, the barrow whites, are wraiths technically.
Are wraiths.
So it could just be a field of battle. They could just be attached there as well.
It could be a physical item. Wraiths have attached themselves to them in the past, but they can also attach themselves to locations and...
Do you think they're looking for a wraith?
I don't know, but my gut tells me they are.
DM question.
Yeah.
What? Just because all of the prior events to this set of events so long ago for KP, that did the team decide to hide the crown or present it at the?
It was supposed to be with you, and you were supposed to decide what to do with it when you went to the Rangers.
Yeah. So you
Okay.
were given. It was given to you because they felt like it's of your descendants, right? It was a
Right.
and then you got absconded by the so it was never discussed. The group never discussed what to do with it. They just said
You
it's
just did it
probably
with
better
you.
with you.
Yeah.
Right. If that's the case, then at that point, I think he's going to trust their judgment, especially Elornit's judgment in giving it to him.
Haleth's.
No,
Oh,
no,
Elborn's
Elborn's.
judgment. Oh, I thought...
Of giving him the crown, and so I think at the moot itself, he would have presented it as this was discovered
Okay.
in the parties.
So we would know that you have the crown on you, or do we leave it with the other Rangers?
Oh, he has the crown on him still.
I still have it on me. I would imagine
Yeah.
they would so you would know that this was what we discovered in the burrows, and it is an artifact. It's a relic of some power.
Orphan,
Yes.
you mentioned that you and your crew had located an object, the crown. We all saw it, discussed it. But they were saying they needed multiple items. Most rituals, though I know very little of magics, take more than one thing.
Are they searching perhaps for items of power like this to perform this ritual?
I think so.
Which would mean that they know other sources, or at least other buried locations for such items.
They don't know. They guess. That's why there's so many out here.
Correct.
If they knew, they would only need to send one group.
Exactly.
So, and I grab a map of the area and I lay it out on a bit of rock, and I start like pointing at areas where I think like based on where we are and where we saw campfires while we were up in the high parts, trying to kind of figure out where we think that they would actually be looking and try to see if we could like do some process of elimination on that.
Okay. You do that. You mark down a rough area of where you think the little camps are, aided by the information that Talendil received from this now unconscious bandit of where you think that their main camp is. He did sort of give a rough description of where that is. Everything sort of forms a circle around here, and based on Talendil's description, this has kind of been them in and out of here has been kind of going on for months. Outside of like the main places, you have no way to tell what has been searched already, or if they're moving from outside to inside or inside to outside. Essentially, it would have been like 2 weeks for Talendil to travel down, have the moot, and then 2 weeks back. So he's lost a month here. Not to mention any other times that Talendil would have ranged out of Fornost, or any times that he would have just knocked off a bandit or two. You look around here. Go ahead and let me see. Roll me riddle as you're trying to suss this out.
Oh, I am not good at riddle. I don't have any riddle.
Okay. So you can still possibly roll a Gandalf rune, just to see.
Yeah, fuck it. Woo!
I'd be so mad if you rolled a Gandalf rune. I don't have anything prepared.
I would have fucking loved it.
Like, shit. I was
so
waiting for the
good.
Sauron eye.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah. So without further without further information for other like variables, you have no idea where they have searched. You can kind of mark locations of where you think like where essentially like the castle was, right? That there's an area beneath the Dome of Stars, like that could be a good place to look for things. So you kind of mark places, but you have no idea whether they have already searched there, whether it's been ruled out, whether that building still remains. Obviously, Talendil can assist in that department, but yeah, without further information, you have no idea where to search.
wow.
I want to make sure too that we mark like, Orphan, you found the crown in the
Burrows.
marshes
Yes.
north of
in
Weathertop.
the Midgewater
In the
marshes
Midgewater
down
marshes.
south. Yep.
So I mark where an actual item has been found, maybe in like a different symbol or color. It gets an X instead of a circle, whatever we want to do. Because that we know an object has been found. I'm going to guess that they are moving south. We know that there have been hillman sightings in the north, and that the trolls are moving south out of the Etten Moors. It only makes sense if it is true the shadows grow long, that they would move southward through the battle areas of the past, starting with the North Downs. Fornost is directly in the middle. Was it bandits you ran into when you saved the crown? I the words for it.
Mike, remind me again. Were
More or
they
less. Yeah.
More or less.
They were hunting. They were treasure hunters or bandits or however you want to put that.
Well, yes. Seems like just some random hires. Nothing. Just like these, they don't seem to have much information.
Of course not. When they're kept in the dark, they're easier to command.
Oh, you know that they were hired from Bree.
I do know that they were hired from Bree, but I don't know by who.
Bandits out of Bree. Seems a
So
little-
you know that there were bandits, and they were also just like men out of work that needed a job, and the
so
job
they
was
also
digging
took
a hole.
up the call.
Yeah.
I see. Maybe these men heard the call from bandits. Either way, bandits as far south as Bree is a little out of character.
A lot of things are out of character these days.
You should keep that crowd close.
I intend to.
And I suggest you start wearing your belt under your coat. And you need a new pair of boots if you're going to move more quietly.
I have been traveling for quite some time without new pair, indeed. Actually,
Brethiel,
Yes.
Savage.
don't need to be so harsh on him.
I don't.
It
No,
is not harsh if he learns something from it. I consider it educational.
I don't think it is harsh, but I also wish to ask of you. And you see him like stand up a little straighter, and like after taking a breath, look at you, goes, "With my actions, I put you all in danger, and risk the mission. If you were to ask of me, I will go back to the moot."
Well,
And,
you can't go anywhere yet. You've not killed anyone. And we all walked into this knowing our lives are on the line, not because you made a mistake. You cannot bear the burden of everything on your shoulders. It is not the Ranger way.
No. I just did not wish to be a risk to you and a risk to the mission. If at any moment that is the case, please do not hesitate to tell me that I must leave you.
Maybe you've been with the Elves too long.
Here, here.
Frankly,
No offense.
You're
I say to
right.
Haleth very quickly, realizing you might be dating one. Sorry.
frankly, I think it's better to just make a different plan with you not to be stealthy. You make a very good distraction.
I say we post here for the night, see if anything else comes through. And we're up before sunrise, so we can maybe make it to the next camp before they wake.
Like this plan?
Orphan,
Yes.
let's watch the dead body, see if the wolves come. We'll kill you one for a new pair of boots.
I can hunt.
Prove it.
And one thing.
Telendil like snorts and tries to stifle.
Aelith grins openly.
Just want everyone to
The
know,
one
I
thing you
gave
notice
everyone
about
here,
Orphan.
I gave
that-
everyone 3 small paragraphs of each of these characters. I didn't expect Brethiel to be such a savage.
Yeah.
You
Let
said
the
she is
wolves eat
soft-
this
she's-
fresh corpse. I'll make you shoes.
I'm just getting.
Okay.
She hunts wraiths in the north, the worst kind of air. She hunts wraithlands. She doesn't. She has no. She has no cushion. She ain't
Yeah.
your. Yeah, she has no cushion.
It's so metal.
Love it.
Yeah,
I
I
love her
haven't
so
even
much.
seen
No,
her let her hair down yet.
Mike, we're gonna be running out of time here. This is gonna be a 2-parter.
It's gonna be a 2-parter.
I want to keep playing with
As soon as you didn't go to the main area that I told you to go to, I was like, this is going to be a 2-parter. I was like, I know what happens in the main area, and there's no way they have 20 minutes to do that.
Well, then I think you made your decision, Mike.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
time we play, we have to finish off this orphan one
yeah,
shot.
this is a 2-parter.
And he's gonna have a new pair of boots.
bare boots.
You
He's
know
gonna
what?
show up to Rivendell with a new pair of boots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Only thing that's not deteriorating on him.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn things over to you all to describe to me. No one attacks you, and also no one comes. You get the opinion that no one comes to this area; they come to the main area, unless a new
Right.
group is sent out. But if no one comes back, no one is sent out. Right?
I imagine that's where we're headed before daybreak.
Sure. So I will let you all describe the night into daybreak, how this goes, and that'll be how we outro the show before we do introductions and stuff. So you can all take in turn, combine, whatever you want to do. How does the night end from this moment to the following morning, and does Orphan get new shoes?
Okay, so let's do Orphan first. So I imagine we stake out till the wolves show up for the corpse, and learning opportunity. We step into combat with maybe like a small pack of wolves. And Orphan, you get to see her let her hair down, and when she does, this long braid that almost hits the floor comes out. And because she's in a closer combat and is not using the bow, she pulls her spear. So we'll do spear combat. And you see as she fights and when she whips her body around, her hair acts as a natural whip, forcing space between her enemy and herself. And maybe she showed you some new things, but we do manage to slay a wolf. Let them take the carcass, 2 of them, and one of them gets slayed, and we will skin you a new pair of boots tonight.
The one thing that you do notice about Orphan is, despite his blunders, like, he was very sincere that, hey, I don't want to be a detriment to the group. If you feel I am, that is okay. I will leave. But also, yes, he was embarrassed by the consistent blunders. But the one thing you notice about him is that he is very quick to recover from those. He doesn't like try to keep remembering about it and like wallowing in self-pity. He's like, all right, I messed up, learned that lesson, let's move forward.
And I imagine, like, as we're skinning, we talk about it, because she's not here to make you feel bad. She actually kind of wants you to move on from it, right? And because of her history, she probably tells you, you know, like, men have a history of losing themselves in their ego and their distaste for themselves. You don't have to be ashamed, Orphan. You're a good fighter. And I'm like peeling away flesh of the wolf. And I say, part of your problem with your stealthiness is that all of your clothing hangs on everything. Animals, they have fur, feathers. These things make it easier for them to move through growth without being noticed. Instead, the fur snags, not the body. And I keep and then you begin to notice that she has kind of prepped her body to be that way, the way she carries her stuff. Her spear doesn't hang at an angle, it hangs straight up behind her so that she, you know, and so she just shares information and attempts to comfort Orphan in a really probably a curt way that's like, you are one of us. We're not going to turn you away, nor are you a problem. And she wants to reassure you of that. Instead, Rangers solve their problems, and we're going to solve your problem by getting you a new pair of boots.
And Orphan really appreciates, like, my skills mostly have been in talking and trying to convince people that there's things going on in this world and reminding them of the old lores. And I think more of my time was spent in books than in the range, and perhaps
she probably wipes her nose blood a little bit, like, across her face, and she's still like skinning this thing as she listens to you talk. And she says, well, Rangers don't often say much, at least I don't, but I have a feeling that words will only get you so far.
Also, I will say, if your only experience with Lord of the Rings is the movies, there's a scene in The Fellowship of the Ring where they take to the mountain pass, and everyone is trundling. The hobbits are like chin deep in snow, and you see Legolas just like on top of the snow. He is almost weightless on top of the snow in comparison to everyone. And in no fault of Elverneth, she can't teach you to be fucking magically weightless, right? Like, it's not a skill she can train you on how to move with the wind and how to be part of it and like not bend the grass as you move through it. You just have to be a fucking human and just stumble your way through.
And this fucking human is looking at you saying, like, look, I've had to overcome these things too. Let me teach you how I did it, because I'm not an elf. I'm not weightless, you know, and just tries to pass on a little knowledge. And she says, it's nice to have you around, Orphan. It makes me feel young again. Rip skin.
I remember my first Kittle.
I remember when I walked uphill through the snow with no shoes on.
Snaps the sinew with her teeth.
Strings a bow
And I will add, as like Haleth is like cooking and getting everything ready, she probably says to Orphan at one point, you know, you may not be the stealthiest person I've ever met or the best with the spear, but we all have our strengths, and we need to learn how to work together to use every strength that we have and minimize our weaknesses. I think perhaps traveling with Elverneth has hindered you slightly. She's there to compensate for anything that you're not good at.
Careful, that's your future wife.
I heard she compensates for a lot of sand under my breath as I'm sewing boots together.
He's like, Elverneth has taught me many things as best as she could. And I think it was a matter of what she felt was important versus what was not. And at the moment, I had never quite needed to be in such a situation as much, or at least in these sort of specific situations. And I still am very grateful for all the knowledge that she has given me and the capabilities I have. It's just a matter of, I suppose, perspective on what was important and what is important now.
I am not saying she did not teach you important things or that she left any part of your education undone. I am simply pointing out that we learn many things due to necessity because no one is there to catch us when we fall. We learn how to get back up again. You have had someone to catch you when you fall.
Yes.
Now you have your own boots to catch you.
Yes. They'll be nice too.
It's true. I'm a good boot maker. Put it in my
Nice.
backstory, Mike.
The next time we play these characters, we'll keep them around. God. So wolves come. Conversation is had. We'll forego the weeks-long tanning process and
This is fantasy world, Mike. I can do what I want.
We'll Skyrim craft these boots.
Or what Orphan doesn't know is now he's got to carry a smelly pelt on his
Yeah,
back
yeah,
for the next
smelly.
2 weeks until his boots are ready.
Yeah, it just it's rank. He has to keep rubbing lotion on it all the time.
He has to hold it backwards in the sunshine. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Gross.
Yeah, added onto his back.
I love that. There's still some.
You suck at stealth. Here's more things to make you suck more.
Here's a backwards skin cape. Have that.
This is classic ranger hazing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. Like, she's getting a kick out of the fact he's the youngest. This is fucking fun. I remember when she was Hayes. Like, this is great.
Back in my day, we just tanned it on our back.
She never smiles or laughs ever. But she's having the best night of her life picking on Orphan.
Oh my God. Does anyone else want to add anything to this final scene?
What about Telendil and Haleth? What do y'all do while we kill wolves and pick on, Hayes Orphan?
I was making dinner.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. Ooh, good food. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Talendil, do you have anything to add to this final scene?
Oh gosh. I think Talendil's just got he's soaked in blood, so he's kind of like taken off some of his armor, and like since it's like part of the fire, he's probably like laid it over over some like branches and sticks and whatnot, so it'll like dry a little bit faster. But he just kind of like he's like listening to Baratheon and Orphan like have their conversation. He's probably not really super engaged with Haleth, not for any reason in particular, but he's not used to having company. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a little awkward. So he's just kind of like doing his like regular nighttime ritual. The boots are off. His feet are out. He's kicking back on a rock and probably slinging back a little something that doesn't normally get out this way. And once Orphan gets his licking, he's gonna look over to Orphan and just be like, the two of them have a lot of good advice. But don't forget, sometimes you just need a little extra courage. And he's gonna like cap the bottle and like hand it off to Orphan.
Here, have this drink.
I love that.
You're gonna need it, kid.
I love that. As our scene wanes down, you have, I assume, shifts as you sleep through the night. What I would like to know is who's on the final shift.
I'll probably be on the final shift.
Okay.
That way it can be stealthy as daylight comes up.
Okay. So we see, jokes are had, skins are shorn, drinks are passed, jokes, hazing, etc. And in rotations, everyone beds down. We see as the last vestiges of the small fire, as Brethiel is poking these in the final bits of darkness. And the camera pans across, and we see this central location that Talendil was told about, around which there is a large circular stone fire. 3 people are around this. A woman, a slight woman, kind of crouched low, almost cat-like, to the ground, watching with just a pensive admiration. We see another person who's old and sort of wiry, has a long grizzled beard, is just pacing back and forth. While the third person, sort of heavier set, broad-barreled chest, looks down at a piece of paper, tears open like a pouch, like a paper container, essentially, and throws something into the fire. The fire immediately erupts in green light. And you see him look to the other 2 and nod as he begins reaching into a sack and just throwing objects into this fire. You see a bracelet incinerate. You see a sword incinerate, just the blade gone as he throws this in. And as Brethiel kind of pokes one last cinder and looks up, you see this eerie green glow through the trees and buildings. And that's where we end this half of the one-shot for our Orphan one-shot. Come back next week for more of these shenanigans as we...
For a 2-shot of the one-shot?
Yeah, as we wrap up the second half of our one-shot. So yeah, let's go around, do our outro, and then we can get the hell out of here. And do... usually we don't do an after show for the one shots, but if you guys want to do an after show, we totally can. Either way,
we should just do one after show for both of them.
Yeah, let's do that. So
it's
we'll
one
wrap
story,
the
so we'll do
thing.
it next week for both of them.
That's a good call. Good idea. Cool. So let's do our introductions, then we'll get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys next week. We'll start with the star of the show. KP, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Dude, brains all over.
Go on.
Your name, KP. Start with your name and where people can find you online.
Hello, everybody. My name is KP. I go by KP Lemon Studios on all the socials. You can find me on all of them. And yeah, just if you enjoyed me fumbling and failing all this time, there'll be more of that in the future, I'm sure. And
Come on back. He does it all the time.
I do it all the time. But if you like photography, if you like more role-playing stuff, if you like voice acting, if you like culture consultation, a lot of fun, great stuff coming out soon. So just come follow me there. And then more consistently, I want to keep doing this. So keep coming back to this because I want to do this.
I will say, because most of us are notoriously terrible at promoting parts of our things, KP is immensely hireable. If you want headshots and things at conventions, you can just give him money to do them. Also, voice acting. You can also give him money to do that. So if you want to hire him for things, he's hireable for things.
I'm actually going to be at PAX East. If you're going to PAX East, if you're looking for headshots, I will be doing headshots there. This will be the last week I'll be accepting booking inquiries, at least.
It was really cool. I saw KP set up at Gamma. It was dope.
It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to show those off soon.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, come by. At least come just say hi. I always love meeting new people. So yeah.
Hell yeah. We'll jump over to Aris. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Arisavad, and I make all sorts of things. You can find the things that I make at arisavad.com. Go on over there right now if you like anything floral or jewelry, or if you like dragons, or you like pens and want to put them somewhere, or maybe you like ass and you want to have an ass hat. You can have an ass hat. You can do that. In fact, you can have a grassy ass hat. It's green.
I love that.
A grass ass hat.
Also, I just want to add, when Aris says she's making jewelry, she does metal stuff.
She's a metal smith.
Yeah, she like
I'm a
smiths.
silversmith.
Yeah, she like smiths
Ooh,
rings
that's
and
pretty.
shit.
It's already sold.
That's pretty
Damn
dope.
it.
So literally
Sorry.
handmade.
Also,
handmade
Dot,
smelting.
it was way too big for your hand.
Oh, yeah. I have tiny fingies.
Don't worry, there will be more. I'm just getting started.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Gnome, same questions. Who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
What's up? I'm Gnome. I don't really do anything these days. I'm here.
You can just
follow
give
this
him money.
channel.
Gnome streams every morning, guys. If you want.
I do stream every morning. It's just chill. If you're awake, come hang out. If you're not, sleep in and enjoy your sleepy times. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't do a lot these days. I work. I have fun. Play Jackbox games.
Perfect. I'm like I can't promote myself, but apparently I can just promote all my friends.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Dot, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Dot. You can find me online as Little Red Dot. I spend all of my time over at Kobold Press, and the rest of the time I spend it right here and with my podcast, Pod by Night.
Hell yeah. Also, for the record, since I'm doing this for everybody, Dot's also hireable. Occasionally, Dot runs games on like the internet.
Occasionally, I do. Right now, the only private game slot I have open is for a 4-week back-to-back run. So right now, it would be like you, your friends, and we run a 4-shot of whatever you want.
Yeah, but if you want to play with Dot, keep an eye out on the socials and also on, what is it, Start Playing Games you're on? Is that what you're on?
Yeah, I use Start Playing Games for all my stuff. And you can actually go there and request it direct to me. Like, if you have something you want to do that's I didn't put up, I have an open slot for the right nows. And Mike, guess what's coming next week? Did you tell everybody?
Oh, yeah, Alien. I mean, I told everyone in the Discord, but if you're catching it for the first time, we start up Alien Season 4, the final season, 6-episode run, starting next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, so come check that out. And find out who gets eaten by an alien first. Is it me?
Yes.
Great. That's it from us, guys. We will see you next week for the second half of this one-shot. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.